the events that day, like,
First Lieutenant Madeline Hoffman
were
remembers
definitely
watching
like,
the January 6th events at the Capitol on
yeah,
TV.
that was tough as a service member to see. But yeah, just personal opinions aside, I take that oath very seriously, and I, want to make sure that our Marines understand that, like, that type of activity, like, is directly in contrast to that oath. And
Hoffman leads a Marine Infantry Logistics Unit at 29 Palms. We initially talked just before she conducted the required stand-down on extremism. She was required to review the oath Marines take to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
we were pushed this a week ago. All the source material specifically for the extremism stand down. So I've been taking the last week to really educate myself and be prepared to give this training.
Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin gave all branches of the military 60 days to conduct stand-downs. Rather than having top commanders fill large lecture halls, the Marines pushed the task down to small unit commanders. It's Hoffman's first real training on the topic.
Specifically, extremism hasn't been a major training point prior to.
Experts who follow the military's checkered history with tracking extremism aren't surprised that leaders on the ground haven't been given the tools to look for it in the ranks. Heidi Byrick is co-founder of the Global Project Against Hate and Extremism.
They need to change the way investigations are done. They need to look at those regulations. They need to make sure that anybody who's in a position to report this stuff is doing so, that information is captured. Their own investigators haven't seemed clear in hearings earlier in 2020 on what the rules are. I mean, there is a lot that needs to be done to fix this problem in the military.
Byrick is concerned that if the stand-down isn't backed up with tangible changes, it will send the wrong message to rank-and-file members of the military.
So, I think of the stand-down as being a good wake-up call to everyone, and hopefully there'll be serious conversations in every branch and every level about these issues. But, I mean, that can only be perceived as one tiny piece.
She says investigators in each branch need to work together. They still don't have a database of extremist tattoos and symbols. They are still working on a policy to monitor social media for extremist activity, often relying on the FBI. How did it go?
The training, I thought, actually went really well.
After the stand-down, First Lieutenant Hoffman says they went longer than she expected, mostly because of the number of questions. One thing that came up a lot is that technically Marines are allowed to belong to extremist groups as long as they aren't active members.
Something as simple as sharing an article from an extremist organization on your Facebook page is grounds to move from passive to active membership.
Two Marines under Hoffman's command say the military's apolitical reputation has been under siege for a while. The stand-downs were a chance to right this ship, says Lance Corporal Alan Huff.
If you can receive this knowledge about this class and be told that it's a relevant issue and still somehow look away from it, then that's kind of a personal issue.
Marine Corporal David Dorsey says he found the stand-downs informative. He hasn't encountered people in extremist groups, but as an African American, he's seen bigotry and racial stereotypes among his fellow Marines. He says there's no quick fix here.
Do we work on trying to fix it? Yes, but it's a slow going thing. It's not something that's going to change immediately. And you have to influence people to want to be better.
The Pentagon did not compile data on the extremist activity that may have been revealed during these closed-door sessions, preferring to let troops speak off the record. Next step, making sure troops feel comfortable saying something when they see it. Steve Walsh, KPBS News.